So now let's
Okay, so what's the evidence? So that's his argument that he just gave you his argument that it's different creation account. Okay, what's the evidence?
go back to the later creation account, which begins in Genesis 1:1, and this is the priestly creation account, which was probably
The priestly creation account. That makes no sense. The Levitical priesthood?
written at some point in the 6th century, or maybe the
Okay, so he says he has no evidence for this. So his claim
early 5th
is
century BCE, and it begins Bereshit bara Elohim, which does not mean in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, because Bereshit, every time it occurs, is in a construct state. It means in the beginning of something, and frequently
yeah, in the beginning of something, right? In the beginning of creation, in the beginning, Bereshit. Those Bereshit is only ever used. Reshit, it's only ever used to denote something at the very chief point of something, the very chief point of something, the very beginning. You would know that if you were a biblical scholar. I don't even know if I want to continue this video, man, but I have to because people are going to say, oh, so he just said that Bereshit, Reshit, it just means, it means something different, I guess. It doesn't mean beginning. We've had it wrong this whole time. Thank God we have Dan McClellan to correct us.
it's used to begin a temporal clause. It's used to explain the time period when something else happened. So
The fact that he says temporal clause, there's no reason for him to be talking about temporal clauses or any of this right now. He is venturing off into the world of gymnastics so he can backflip and somersault his way around the actual question. That's what he's going to do the whole time.
a more literal translation would be in the beginning of God creating the heavens and the earth, or more
It's the same thing.
idiomatically in English translation, when God began to create the heavens and the earth, comma, and then verses 2 and 3 explain the state of affairs at that point in time when God began to create the heavens and the earth. And for folks who think that this is not grammatically justified, it is actually overwhelmingly to be preferred. And since Rashi and even earlier commentators, people have noted, Bereshit is in the construct. If they wanted to say in the beginning in an absolute sense, they could have used Barishonah, but they didn't. And so the best
It doesn't matter. See, he's trying to tell you that since the definite article is not there, then it can't mean in the beginning as we think it. It's got to mean like in the time period of the beginning or whatever. No. Bereshit, Reshit is only ever used to denote the chief point, the beginning, the first point of something. So Bereshit is used in Genesis 1:1 to tell you it's in the beginning. That's why it's translated that way. This guy is an idiot. I'm sorry. No offense, but he's an idiot. He's a fool. Are you kidding me? He doesn't know Hebrew. He's just pulling stuff out of his Mormon teaching and trying to feed it to you. There's no Hebrew scholarship behind this.
interpretation, and the interpretation that the majority of scholars now agree was likely intended is
The majority of scholars are not believers, by the way. He's talking about secular scholarship.
when God began to create the heavens and the earth. And then verse 2 explains that the earth was welter and waste, and it was submerged beneath the murky and chaotic waters of creation, and the Spirit fluttered over those waters, and the darkness was above that. So this is not creation ex nihilo. And as I pointed out in many
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Tohu and bohu in Hebrew mean void and without order. There was nothing there. It was just water covered. It means to be, there's nothing here. This guy is not a Hebrew scholar. He doesn't know the Hebrew. He's not telling you Hebrew where he's not explaining anything to you. He's giving you things that sound like scholarly arguments, folks. They're not.
videos, creation ex nihilo is actually a philosophical innovation of the late 2nd century CE that arose as Christians were getting in debates with Gnostics and other Greek thinkers about, one, the morality of the concept of eternal matter, and two, the rationality of the resurrection. But irrespective, what we have is
So our interpretation of Genesis 1:1 is a response to Gnostic attacks on the church. Where did you get that information from? What is this? This is not, listen, I'm done. I'm done. This doesn't deserve any more of my time. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. You know what? Let's continue. Just to, let's finish it.
a God creating through separation of materials that already exist, the light from the dark, the waters above from the waters beneath, through the creation of a rakia, a physical, hard surface that suspends the waters above and creates this empty space so that the waters beneath can then recede, revealing the dry land.
There's no hard space. It was air. What did he just say? Did he just say hard space?
And recede, revealing the so that the waters beneath can physical, hard, the light from the dark, the waters above from the waters beneath, through the creation of a rakia, a physical, hard surface that suspends the waters above and creates this empty space so that the waters beneath can then...
Oh, so you're saying there's like a shell or something. That's not what it doesn't say that anywhere. Again, this dude is just creating. So there's a crystal canopy, I think is what he's trying to say.
Recede, revealing the dry land, which is the third type of separation. So the first 3 days of creation are all about creating the environments. You have the light and the dark. You have the waters above and the waters beneath. You have the dry land. So we're creating environments. And then in the second,
we're supposed to be talking about why Genesis 1 and 2 are different accounts, and he's off on some philosophical rant about his interpretation. This is not scholarship.
3 days of creation, you create the inhabitants of each respective environment. Day 4, you have the celestial bodies to inhabit the day and the night, the light and the dark. Day 5, you have the things that inhabit the waters beneath, as well as the skies that exist between the two waters. And then in day 6, you have the creation of all the animals that live on the dry land. And this is when humanity appears, on day 6, in this creation account. So whereas in Genesis chapter 2, it went humans, plants, animals, in Genesis chapter 1, it goes celestial bodies, plants, animals, humans.
That's, again, he's saying that humans came first in the second account, but it's just not true. In the second account, it's telling you that the humans were created on day 6, and it's talking about day 6, the creation of Adam and Eve. It's clear on that. So he has to prove his point, and he's not doing that with Scripture. He's just restating his argument over and over again and then going off on a tirade in left field about some other subject. There hasn't been a single scholarly argument this entire video. Where is it? What's his scholarly argument? The absence of the definite article?
Very different order of creation. And then in Genesis 1:26, we have the famous, let us make